Hello and welcome back to Euro Football Daily, where this week we're looking at Jurgen Klopp's top 10 worst transfers. He may seemingly do no wrong these days at Liverpool, but he has certainly made some transfer blunders in the past. Let's get started. 10. Naby Keita. We start with one of Klopp's more recent and most expensive signings, Naby Keita. Bought from RB Leipzig for a hefty £54 million in August 2018, Keita arrived at Anfield to serious hype, having established himself as one of the most sought-after all-action midfielders in Europe. In Leipzig, Keita registered 14 goals and 12 assists in just 52 appearances from a deep-lying position on the field. But it was his ability to break up play that made him truly unique. In the 17-18 Champions League campaign, the Guinean star managed 1.6 defensive dribbles per game, as well as 2.4 interceptions and 3 clearances. Only stars like Casemiro, Marco Verratti and Saul Niguez achieved numbers anywhere close to Keita that season. But sadly, things haven't quite taken off for him at Liverpool. With just 7 starts and 16 appearances in his first season at Anfield, Keita was unlucky as injury cut short his playing time. When he has been on the pitch though, he has struggled to impress. His 0.4 key passes and 1.1 shots per game were his worst return ever in a single season as a professional. Liverpool have a stacked midfield with the likes of the ever-reliant Henderson, Fabinho and James Milner. If Keita can't show fitness and form soon, injury may not be the only thing keeping him off the field. Before we delve deeper into Klopp's transfer mistakes, remember to subscribe to our channel at Euro Football Daily and hit that notification button to never miss a video. 9. Kevin Campl. While Naby Keita may find himself unlucky to be on this list, there is no doubt about our next player, Kevin Campl. Another player who impressed at Red Bull Salzburg in Austria, the Slovenian midfielder was bought by Borussia Dortmund for £10.8 million in January 2018. Campl joined a Dortmund side languishing in 17th in the Bundesliga, and did play every remaining league game as they dragged themselves to a 7th place finish. But he never did anything to truly stand out. Offering no goals and just 1 assist, Campl completed a miserable 71.1% of his passes and only won 0.4% of his aerial duels. Despite previous experience in the Bundesliga playing for Bayer Leverkusen, the step up from Austria to one of Germany's giants was too much of an ask for the young Slovenian. His misery was compounded when he was sent off against fierce rivals Bayern Munich in the German Cup semi-final, despite only coming on after 83 minutes, going on to miss the final. When his old coach Roger Schmidt expressed an interest in bringing Campl back to Leverkusen, he couldn't jump at the chance quicker, bringing his Dortmund nightmare to an abrupt end after just 6 months. 8. Edu. Next is the widely forgotten former Mainz striker Edu. For a small club like Mainz, any transfer has to be carefully considered so as not to waste precious financial resources. So when they decided to pay £900,000 to Bundesliga 2 side VfL Bochum for Edu in the summer of 2006, they were taking a giant risk. In just their second season in the Bundesliga under Klopp, they had managed to finish the 2005-06 campaign in 11th place, even going on a run that saw them lose just 1 of their final 11 games. With 11 games drawn throughout the season, a new striker was meant to be the firepower needed to push Mainz further up the table. Edu arrived having registered 12 goals for Bochum the previous season. Having come through the academies of both Sao Paulo and Santos in Brazil, Mainz fans and Klopp had every right to believe they had a Brazilian bargain on their hands. But it would go horribly wrong for both Edu and Mainz. With just 1 goal in 14 appearances, the young forward was a disaster. To make matters worse, the West German side would end the 2006-07 season relegated, scoring 12 less goals than the season before. A wasted investment, Edu was a flop Mainz and Jurgen Klopp simply couldn't afford. 7. Steven Caulker. If, like us, you had forgotten that Steven Caulker joined Liverpool in January 2016, then don't be alarmed. With multiple defensive injuries troubling Liverpool's backline, they desperately needed cover. But it still took everyone by surprise when Caulker was the man they turned to. Despite once appearing to be one of the most exciting young English defenders in the game, unsuccessful spells at Queen's Park Rangers and Cardiff City saw Caulker's stock fall, as he twice suffered relegation from the Premier League. And to join Liverpool, he had to cut short a loan spell at Southampton, where he had played just 145 minutes of league football in the first half of the season. Curiously, Klopp decided to use Caulker as an auxiliary striker. For 3 games, the defender found himself coming on the 90th minute up front as Liverpool chased the game. He even played a part in Adam Lallana's winner away to Norwich, in what would ultimately be his career highlight at Anfield. Never intended to be a long-term purchase, Caulker joined Dundee in February 2018 after just 4 minutes of football in Liverpool. And despite a resurgence in Scotland and now Turkey, it remains a mystery to many as to how Caulker found himself playing up front for Klopp's Liverpool. 6. Julian Schieber. A striker most Dortmund fans have chosen to forget, Julian Schieber failed to ever set the Westfalenstadion alight with his finishing. Schieber's record was far from prolific when Dortmund signed him from Stuttgart for just under £5 million in July 2012. Aside from a modest return of 7 goals in 29 appearances while on loan at FC Nuremberg in 2010, the German had managed just 6 goals in his first 3 seasons at Stuttgart. Yet, weirdly, Schieber had 5 goals in 7 appearances for the German under-21 team, and it was perhaps this return that saw Klopp take a chance on the young forward. That, however, is where the excitement ends. 3 league goals in his first season was the pinnacle, with Schieber failing to find the back of the net in his second term in the famous yellow shirt of Dortmund. To make matters worse, his shots per game numbers fell from an already meagre 1.1 in the 2012-13 season to just 0.4 per game the following campaign. Never truly cut out to play for Borussia Dortmund, it was no surprise to see Schieber on his way after just 2 years in Dortmund. He joined Hertha Berlin for £2.25 million and has sunk into football mediocrity ever since. 5. Dominic Solanke. Another English product of the famed Chelsea academy, Dominic Solanke was destined to be one of the best young forwards in the game. Scoring 20 goals in 24 appearances in the 13-14 season for the under-18 squad, Solanke looked set to be the only academy product set to break into a Chelsea side under Mourinho, with the Portuguese manager even stating it would be a failure if he didn't make him an England international. But after following the generic path to Vitesse Arnhem in Holland on loan, Solanke chose Liverpool as the place to find more Premier League game time. Following a tribunal, Klopp snapped up the forward for just £3 million. Sadly, however, Solanke is still yet to show the promise his junior career suggested. After 6 starts and 21 appearances, the English managed just 1 solitary goal in his time at Anfield. With just 1 shot, 0.4 dribbles and 0.7 key passes on average per game, Solanke's numbers were dwarfed by fellow strikers Mane, Firmino, Mo Salah and even Daniel Sturridge. It made it all the more surprising that Bournemouth agreed to pay £19 million for him in 2019. With no goals in 10 games at the time of writing, the signing of Solanke may ironically turn out to be a genius piece of business by Klopp. 4. Imre Szabics. Another forward flop from his first coaching job at Mainz, Jurgen Klopp won't have too many fond memories of Imre Szabics. Perhaps being most famously remembered for scoring 2 goals against Man United in the 2003-04 Champions League for Stuttgart, Szabics possessed genuine European scoring credentials when he arrived at Mainz in the summer of 2006. And despite being valued much higher, the forward cost just £225,000 from his then employer FC Cologne. But Mainz would prove to be just another blip in the career of the Hungarian striker, as he failed to reproduce the form that saw him stun the stands at Old Trafford. With 2 goals in 20 games, Szabics' failure in front of goal was just another factor in Mainz's 05 relegation to the Bundesliga 2 in the 2006-07 season. To add insult to injury, Szabics was released on a free transfer to FC Augsburg, signalling a terrible return to their investment. It makes it more surprising that he would go on to claim 13 goals in 36 appearances for his national team, and even being named Hungary Player of the Year in 2013 after making a name for himself at Sturm Graz in Austria, no doubt shocking Jurgen Klopp in the process. 3. Loris Karius. The only keeper on our list, Loris Karius is a player some Liverpool fans are yet to forgive. Following the likes of Ter Stegen, Bernd Leno and Kevin Trapp in a line of quality young keepers coming out of Germany, Karius made his name at Klopp's old club Mainz. At just 19 years and 5 months old, he became the youngest keeper ever to play in the Bundesliga, and was even voted the second best behind Manuel Neuer in the 2012-13 season. In the summer of 2016, Liverpool came calling. Initially rotated with Simon Mignolet, the £5 million keeper soon became number 1 at Anfield. Despite boasting the lowest goals against ratio of any keeper in the league during the 17-18 season, Karius had a tendency to make some serious mistakes that would lead to goals. This issue would haunt Karius in the biggest game of his life, the 2018 Champions League final against Real Madrid. Inexplicably throwing the ball to Benzema to score and then fumbling Gareth Bale's long shot, Karius was widely blamed for their 3-1 defeat. Following a shaky pre-season, Liverpool had seen enough. They signed Alisson from Roma for what was then a world record price and sent Karius on loan to Turkey. With Alisson proving to be one of the best keepers in the world and Karius putting in average performances at Besiktas, don't expect to see the German back in a Liverpool side anytime soon. 2. Ivan Perisic. A player who never filled his true potential under Klopp, the transfer of Ivan Perisic to Borussia Dortmund is widely considered a disappointment. Signed from Club Brugge for just £5 million in 2011, Perisic arrived with bags of talent and his trademark lethal left boot. Having scored 30 goals in 70 games for the Belgian side, Perisic wasted no time lighting up the Westfalenstadion, scoring a brilliant 20-yard volley against Arsenal to rescue a draw in the Champions League. And despite starting just 8 games, the Croat managed 7 goals, finishing behind Lewandowski and Shinji Kagawa in the Dortmund goal-scoring charts. But with Klopp preferring Götze, Royce and Blazkowski in the attack the following season, and with his attacking threat diminishing, Perisic found his game time limited. Back in Croatia, Perisic criticised Klopp on national TV, which proved to be a foolish mistake. Klopp was less than amused with the winger's lack of professionalism, and it wasn't long before he was shown the exit door. Joining Wolfsburg in the summer of 2013, Perisic would go on to become a World Cup finalist and a revered player. It's only a shame he couldn't become that player under the watchful eye of Jurgen Klopp. 1. Ciro Immobile. Ciro Immobile discovered what it's like to follow in the footsteps of Robert Lewandowski the hard way. After helplessly watching his star striker be pinched on a free transfer by Bayern Munich, Klopp turned to Immobile to fill the Polishman's goal-scoring void. And having scored 22 goals for Torino in Serie A during the 13-14 season, there was no reason to suggest they hadn't found the right man. But life in the Bundesliga just never seemed to suit the Italian. With just 3 league goals and an average of 1.8 shots per game, the £18 million star struggled to make any form of impression. Immobile did fare much better in the Champions League though. Scoring 4 times in just 5 outings and taking 3.2 shots per game, the slower pace of European football clearly suited the Italian star more. While he suffered on the pitch outside of football, he came under fire for apparently making no effort to learn German and being unfriendly to his neighbours, the latter of which he denied. By the time Klopp had left, Immobile had had enough, heading to Sevilla for the 2014 season. He would go on to criticise Dortmund for their lack of support in helping him settle in Germany. And judging by his prolific goal-scoring form at Lazio over the last 3 seasons, perhaps the German club were at fault for this failed transfer. So guys, that was our top 10 worst Klopp signings. What did you guys think of the list? Did we miss any out? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. Bye!